Respected audience, this is Nigat Raza bringing to you the second part of the chapter where we had finished last time. This is page 93 from where we begin, and the next subtopic of the chapter is the cries of exploitation. What has prepared the groundwork for exploitation which carries out? Free yourself. For what? From what? It is no longer important to know from what. You should be freed. Your breath is cut off. You have nothing. Free yourself. Be free of all things. The one who is burdened under the heaviest loads and is drifting off only thinks about awakening, getting free, and rising above those things which cause one to drift and which brings about pressure. She does not think, how should I arise? They said, women will be freed not with books or knowledge or the formation of a culture and clear-sighted vision or raising the standard of living, common sense, and the level of feeling at the level of vision of the world, but rather with the pair of scissors. Yes, putting scissors to the chadar. This is how they think that women will all at once become enlightened. The complexes of Muslim and Eastern women have become the greatest document of psychologists and sociologists in the service of exploitation and world economics, as they describe the woman in the following way. A woman is a creature who shops. The description of a society and its barriers, which Aristotle gives of humanity when he says a human being is a rational animal, is transformed when it relates to women. It becomes a human being is an animal who shops. She knows nothing other than this. She has no feelings and essentially plays no role. She has no spirituality, no beliefs. She is valueless. In one of these magazines devoted to Eastern women, it was written that in Tehran from 1956 to 1966, the amount of cosmetics and the beauty centers increased 500 times. 500 times is a very great quantity. It's a miracle. It has never happened before in the whole history of humanity. The consumption of economic goods usually increases 8%, 9%, 10%, 20%, but not 500%. This is a symbolic consumption. That is, if 10 years ago the consumer of the cosmetics in Tehran was 100,000 tumans per year, today it is 50,000,000 tumans. In a society, a new consumption is followed by other consumptions. For instance, as soon as the traditional coat, the kaba, changes, the coat and the trousers replaces it. It is one type of shoes give are replaced by leather shoes. Traditional styles of hats are replaced by new ones. In homes, carpets change to modern furniture and old houses are replaced by new ones. Thus, when Europe sends a new product to our society, it paves the way for consumption of further new products. When consumption changes, it is a sign that a person, a consumer who changes, also changes because there is a very sensitive relationship between a consumer and a product. In order to change consumption, the type must change as well as the taste, tradition, and history. Society must be destroyed. This is why the capitalists put a fire in the royal palace for the sake of a handkerchief. Women in Islamic societies must not only be changed from being consumers of goods exported from Europe and America, but they must also become active participants within their households. They must learn to relate according to according to today and tomorrow's generations. They must change the form of society. They must have an effect upon the ethics, values, literature, and art. They must have a deep revolutionary effect upon everything. They should be put to work upon this way. Time, culture, and social possibilities, new economics, changes in social relationships, new thoughts, all of these conditions in an Islamic society by and of themselves change the types of traditions. Women become obliged to change internal and external conditions because the past conditions for women today are no longer practical nor sufficient. And now that things must be changed, now that the new thinkers and the newly awakened ones of our society are inexperienced and unaware, isn't it illogical that capitalists should get busy and prepare their molds so that as soon as a woman puts aside her traditional mold, their mold can be forced upon her. They make her into a form they want and then place her instead of themselves in a position to corrupt society. What should we do? In the midst of this disruptive thoughts which has been imposed upon us and will continue to impose itself upon us, what can we do? Who is it that can take up the mandate? The one who can do something and in saving us play an active role is not the traditional woman who is asleep in her quiet, tame, ancient mold, nor is it the new woman who is a modern doll that has assumed the mold of the enemy and in the process has become full and saturated. Rather, one who can choose the new human characteristics, who can break the fastenings of the old traditions which were presented in the name of religion, but in fact were national and tribal traditions, ruling over the spirits, thoughts, and behavior of the society. As a person who is not satisfied with the old advice, slogans which are given by doubtful sources and do not enthuse her, being the pre-packaged slogans of freedom or of monarchy, she sees ugly, frightening faces which act against the spiritual, which opposes humaneness. She sees that they are in contradiction to the spiritual. I'll read it again. Which oppose humaneness. She sees that they are in contradiction to the spiritual, the rational, the human. They are against women and the human reverence of women. It is these people who know where those things which are forced upon us come from. They know where they get their orders from, what creatures they have sent to the marketplace. Creatures without sensitivities, without knowledge, without pain, without understanding, without responsibility, and even without human feelings. Fresh, clean dolls, worthy ones. It was obvious that their worthiness is in and for what work. Their means of support and its deprivation are also obvious. This is thrown at our women, and they know why. It is because of them that who am I, who should I be, is pertinent. Since they neither want to remain as this nor become that, they cannot surrender themselves to whatever was and is without their own will and choice playing a role. They want a model. Who? Fatima. With this, we come to the end of chapter 9 and we finish the reading of page 96. We will now begin with chapter 10, which deals with the social customs of Hijaz, and the first subtitle is The Social Customs of Hijaz.